Hey everyone, it's Chris here from Chris's Creative Life. And like I said, this has been a long awaited video. Literally the disorganization of my new paper has been driving me crazy. So as you pop on, say hello. I see Sarah's here. There's a few people popping on as we go. So just so you know too, there is actually a handout with all of the links. All the links are just, there is a Stampin' Up! Link for my tab, but I do actually have another one because I use them for different purposes. But everything else is, they're all Amazon links because I figured that was like the concisest way to find the links for you. Not all of the items you have to get on Amazon. Some of them are available like in your office supply stores. And none of the Amazon links are affiliate links or anything. They're just straight a US and a Canadian link to the products that I use to organize. But there is a sheet. So if you comment, I think it's tips. After the live is finished, you can get, it'll send you a message with the link to the download. The download is all ready to go, and actually the link to the download is also in the description of the video. So you don't actually have to say tips. If you forget to, you can find it in my shop. Okay, so I'm going to show you the photographs that I posted. Let's see. So yesterday I had like huge problems with my live. It just wouldn't go live for some reason. So it got a little convoluted here, but I checked and we are live. So that's a good sign. And of course, like really, like right before I went to go hit the button to go live, we got like one of those emergency broadcasts. So it came across like every device and all of those things. So I'm actually going to try and remember. I'm going to turn on my do not disturb right now so that if it happens again, we're not going to get like a blaring. There we go. That's on too. Okay. So, by any stretch of the means, do I know the best way to organize everything? Absolutely not. These are just, I'm going to share with you a few things that I have done over the years that have helped me. So these are the two photos that I actually posted. So this is my 8.5 by 11 paper, cardstock. Oh, wait, that's not what I meant to do. And then this is my 12 by 12 cardstock. So some of my 12 by 12 cardstock are in old Stampin' Up! Envelopes, but obviously I ran out of those. So I do use something slightly different. That link is, like I said, all the links are on the sheet. You don't need to ask for them as we go. But we're going to do some organizing, and I'm going to show you how I do this. Okay. Let me just get off of me now and let's get down onto my desk here. Okay, so these are the tools that I have collected. So we have 5 new in colors for 2026 to 2028. So there's Barely Blush, Chris Cantaloupe. I was like, did I call it the wrong name? But it is the right name. Barely Blush, Chris Cantaloupe, which is apparently a returning color, Golden Glow, Hydrangea Hue, and Peaceful Pine. Love them, and they actually play very well together. You'll notice maybe my banner here matches the Hydrangea Hue. So, like I said, these are a few of the tools that I have gathered. And we're going to do a few of the organizational things, because you know what, like every time you reorganize your scrap room, then or your craft room or any of those goodies, you then find something new to try. But so I've been using this system for a little while. And let's just start. Okay. So I've got, like I said, I'm not going to do everything as we go, but so for my 8.5 by 11, because you do get, like when you get them, right, you get a nice big package of them. I needed something, and actually I was going to grab an old color off the shelf. Okay, so this is how they're organized. Okay, so there is like a lot in there. So I needed something that was not too big for the paper, sturdy. And then of course there's that, it needs to look pretty on my shelf, right? So this is what I use. So they are Avery 12 by 9, and they're called job ticket holders. And it says extra durable for frequent use. So I actually, just to check all my links, ordered new ones for this live. And look at that. It's, see, I haven't even opened it yet. Can't even find my scissors. So if you guys have questions along the way, feel free to ask. Because there, like I said, there are a few different ways that I do things. So I'm going to grab, oh, that's interesting. These feel different but the same. Okay. So maybe these are maybe a knockoff brand, and these are like the name brand ones. Okay. So, but this one does even have like the hole in it right there. I don't know if you can see that. Probably not. Okay. So see, it fits the whole pack of paper in there. Okay. So for these, okay, so the 2 tabs I have, so this is the one we're going to use for the 8.5 by 11 because that's what I've always used. So this is from Stampin' Up. It's keeping tabs, and it's 163538. Okay, so that's what I use for this. We're going to add that on here. The other thing that I do have though is an old memory keeper. We Are Memory Keepers tab punch, and I had this before I had this, obviously. And then it has these little plastic covers that we punch out the cardstock, and then you add it behind. So here is an example. Okay, so I do use it for my 12 by 12 two-tone cardstock because then you can see both sides of the color. So this is the lighter side, and then that's the true side, and then I see it says Darling Duckling. So I use this one for my 12 by 12s, but I do use this one for my 8.5 by 11 because it's single-sided cardstock. And I don't need to worry, I don't really worry about having a plastic cover on it either because I'm not looking at both sides. And then the 2 label makers that I use is I have this old Dynamo, very standard, lots of people have them, right? So I use this one, and then I have this one too, which is relatively new, and I've started using it for a lot of things. See, so it's actually, I labeled this punch with it. So it's called Nimbot, and it connects to your phone, and that's how you print. You type on your phone through an app, and you get this little label. And so I've started doing my punches with this. I do my designer series paper with this. I do lots of things with this one too. Because this one, right, you have to type everything out. Well, you do on your other one too, but it's just on your phone. Okay, then I have double-sided tape we're going to use. I have my bone folder, but these are the general supplies that I use. Okay, so we're going to make this one just like this one. And so I have obviously already started to use my cardstock. So I have pieces, but I also don't have a problem cutting in just to make a label because I know eventually I will use it. Okay, so for this one, we're going to just, and I will eventually just throw away the outer layer, but because we haven't actually created, I need the numbers still so that, and you might not need the number. I need the number, right? Because I need to reference it when I need more, or I'm typing directions or any of those fun things, but you might not need the number. So you could omit this part, right? So and then I do these fit across my shelf, right? I'm in a different camera view, so I don't think I can bring that photo back up, but perfectly fine, right? And they're the full length, right? So everything's protected. And I do now have my cardstock out of bright light, all of those things, right? So this one, we're going to make our label with my old-fashioned reliable dynamo. Okay, so I would look at my color, right? So I'm going to make it hydrangea hue. Space. And I don't worry about capitals, right? Because it doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to put the number in. But like I said, you don't need the number if you're not worried about reordering it. 6, 8, 7. And then I'm just going to print it. And we've got one ready to go. So also sometimes if I'm doing a lot of stuff, sometimes I'll just print it like a second label depending on what I'm doing. But this on my 12 by 12s, for some reason I didn't do the cardstock number, so we're just going to keep with that. Okay, so I'm going to clear this one. Okay, and then we'll do one more. I'm going to actually have to turn the back backwards so that I can't see the little scraps like that. So we'll do crisp cantaloupe. So I'm going to ask you all, out of the 5 new colors, what is your favorite so far? Like I said, I actually think they all play really well together. So I love when that happens, because that doesn't always happen when you like release 5 colors at the same time. Sorry, as I'm like talking, I'm having a hard time typing also all at the same time, you know. Some things. Okay. And then my number, so it's 167. And I actually probably don't need that number here anymore, but because, like I said, because I've done it before, we'll just keep on going like that. Okay. So we'll do these 2. And then we'll do a couple of the 12 by 12s. And then I'll show you what I've started doing with my designer series paper. Okay, we'll move this to the side. Okay, so we'll move that out of the way. Okay, I'll do crisp cantaloupe first. Crisp cantaloupe is Sarah's favorite. So I actually don't know yet. So, and I actually think that different times of year, different colors might be my favorite at different points. I don't know if that makes sense. Because like I see the Peaceful Pine being very helpful. The Peaceful Pine and Golden Glow maybe being very like Christmas, right? Okay, so before I put my paper in, I'm going to do my tab. And so I'm just going to use tear and tape. You can get stronger tape if you want, but I'll be super honest with you. If I don't care that it stays on forever, because I'm also not going to use this cardstock forever, right? This cardstock's just for 2 years. So I also want to be able to peel my labels off and then use them for a new color, right? So for example, I already did it, but like any expire, like I haven't actually pulled out the in colors that finished this year, right? Because they're still available, so I might still use them. But like colors from 2 years ago, I've already pulled them off my shelf. I'll use them for other things, like if I need to try and make like a template for something, or if I'm working on a design project and I just want to see like size things, then I'll use discontinued cardstock, right? So I do use it, but I don't need it to all be like organized. And I do pull it off my shelf so I don't grab it by accident. But you can use stronger double-sided tape. So there's a double-sided tape that's like red line. And if you just, that is not on my list because I'm not going to actually use it today. But it looks like this. So it's just really strong double-sided tape. And okay, so I'm going to press those down, and then I'm going to add my tab on one side, then I will add my label, and then I'll do the back side. So like I said, this will stay on well enough for me. So, and these ones, I just do them all at the same height. You saw in the photo when they're sitting on my shelf, the color is all in like border. So this is my pockets on the front, right? This is my label. Also, these labels, well, all the labels, I also want them so that I could eventually take them off if I wanted, right? Because I will reuse my pockets. I don't want to just keep ordering pockets and keep ordering pockets. Okay, so we now have crisp cantaloupe, and I'll pull the backing off the back. And I'll line them up. And then use my bone folder so that I know that they've kind of made contact with each other. Okay, and then my paper can go in here. You could take it out of the package or leave it in the package. Okay, so we've got crisp cantaloupe ready to go. And then, and the funny thing is I can't have the scraps in the front. I have to have them not facing the front. And when it gets to, when this plastic gets, when it gets less, then I do pull it out of the plastic. But while it's still relatively full, I will leave it in there. Okay, so same thing. So these ones, right, don't have the plastic covers. The ones for my 12 by 12s, I do this. And I don't know that it's actually necessary. Like I said, the reason that I do use the other tabs is because you can see through it. So you can see the true side and then the light side. So, okay. And if you guys have awesome ideas for organizing, I'm all here for it. Because I think that actually the funny part is, like I said, I think once you finish reorganizing everything, then it's just time to start all over again. Or like we get a new product that we've not had before, and then you have to kind of decide how to organize it, right? Or I guess not. I do try and be organized. I'm not always. There are lots of times that I am looking for something that I cannot find. So I will tell you today, when I was looking for, I pulled out these, right? So I keep them together, right? The labels and the tabs, and I leave them until I need to reorder more. I found it's just in like a little container in my office because I keep the things together. But for some reason, there was one of the tips for my take your pick tool in there that I had been looking for forever. So I, of course, had reordered it. So it was like this one, right, with the really pointy tip. And then on the other end is like the dental tip. So I don't even know what possessed me to put it in that container, but okay. So there we go. This is what I do, like I said, with the 8.5 by 11. Okay. So, and that clear, the wrappers are going to start to bother me. But, so, then for 12 by 12s, there's going to be a link on the sheet too. Like I said, my original ones are old, close to my heart paper keepers, but these are the new ones. And like I said too, the same as I'm not worried that the tabs last forever, I'm also not overly concerned that my paper storage lasts forever. Like I just want to use it and move on, right? But so, and there's slightly, like there's just a few, like I've ordered different ones, but like a generic one that I have ordered more than once is on that sheet. So for these, they have like a little notch down. And so that I always do in the same direction. And I label them with the color and then this other tab. And on my shelf, they don't all line up. I try and stagger them a little bit because I don't know why. So I could see the colors more easily. So when I put a new color in, like I'll go down from the next one down to the bottom so that they go across, and then I'll move on to the next one. But so here we'll do Golden Glow, because let's just say I'm going to put Golden Glow beside the Darling Duckling. And funny, these I always take out of the packaging because I don't like this. And if you're worried about the little pieces getting lost, one thing that I have done in the past, but I go through it so fast now, I don't really find that it bothers me. But sometimes on 12 by 12s, I'll put just like, you know, one of these standard page protectors with the little scraps for the 12 by 12. So this is like the two-tone, right? So anything smaller than 12 by 12 that'll fit in an 8.5 by 11, I could put in here, right? So here's a piece I've cut down of Golden Glow already. It's obviously too big for this, but it's not as big as my 12 by 12, so I'll just put it in the front so that I use that first. But I don't always, because like I said, I kind of use it up really quickly. So I don't normally really even worry about putting this 8.5 by 11 in there. But there we go. So we'll just pretend it's going to come next in order. And same thing, this is going to bother me. So I will move it to the back. But it's just weird things. Because I walk by that side of things. I just want it to look neat. Okay, so, but oh, we do need a strap for punching. So obviously I will take my biggest small piece that fits. Okay, and so this is just the tab, not double-sided, right? So like I said, I found this useful for the two-tone because you see both sides. So there's the lighter side and here's the true side. Okay. So we'll put this in here. We'll put this in here. We'll put our punch aside. So for these, all you do, where did that, here it is. Okay, so I have my true side up, right? And you're not going to see these, but they're two-sided stickers. And they're already like in the shape of the punch. So they coordinate. So you can just line it up. Okay, and so let's say this was my next color, which I don't technically know until I go look at my shelf. I might have to move this. And you can move it. Okay, and then, so then you can see on the back side, I can see the light color. I'm just going to fold this over. Same thing. I'll take my bone folder. Okay. And then we'll do our label. So this is Golden Glow, and I'll just lay it over top. And like I said, I don't know why, but I don't do the numbers on these. Maybe, and so I obviously haven't found a need where I have felt that I needed the number. Like Stampin' Up does, like the search engines are pretty good on the new shopping websites. So if you type in Golden Glow, right, it'll pull up both the 8.5 by 11 and the 12 by 12 two-tone. Okay, and this is the way it sits on my shelf, so I need it to be able to read it this way. Okay. And I bet actually I know the answer to why I don't actually put the number, because, right, when I started with Stampin' Up, the only way you could get the 12 by 12s was in the assorted packs. And so they didn't, like, it didn't really have a single number. That's why. So that's probably why I haven't done it. So if I find that I need to add the number, then I will. Okay, so let's do another one, and we'll say we'll do Crisp Cantaloupe, and we'll say it comes after my Timid Tiger here, right? So here is Crisp Cantaloupe. And actually, another reason too is I normally will leave this in the package with the 12 by 12. And so it also kind of gives me an indication as to when I need to reorder stuff, like as I get closer to that white. Okay, so it's our Memory Keeper's Punch, because you can see both sides. I have the little indent to the front. Okay. And we can add this. Just lining it up. Right, and we'll just say it comes in the next order. It does not actually look like that, but I will slot them in after and figure it out. They've been sitting in my, like, they have literally all the new papers and colors have been sitting behind me waiting to do this. So then I'll take them to my shelf and slot them in, right? Okay, so then we need the crisp cantaloupe label. And then after this, I'll quickly show you what I do with my designer series paper, because that was another question. And it does function a little bit differently. Okay, crisp. We all realize I cannot type and talk all at the same time. Okay. Cantaloupe. Print. I did add this onto the links, but I'm sure most people have something like it, if not exactly like it. Okay. So here we go. Okay, so this is how I organize my cardstocks. So like I said, there's a sheet with all the links, etc. It's already uploaded, and I need to center this. And I might trim it when it permanently goes on my shelf. Okay, so there we go. So you would see, right, they're staggered on my shelf so I can see the colors better. I'm not sure that that makes any sense to anybody else other than me, but that's what I do for those. Okay, so now, right, we've got 2 of the 8.5 by 11s done, 2 of the 12 by 12s done. So here is what I do for DSP. So designer series paper. The funny thing is, when somebody actually asked me this question, designer series paper does not stay in my office very long in my studio because I use it and then I'm done with it. But so, for example, we're going to do some of the new ones, but I'll show you that, like I said, it doesn't stay in my office very long because I order it, I create a workshop with it, and then it's gone, right? So I'm not storing long-term designer series paper. So I'm not worried typically to be able to like search it like 2 years from now, right? I just want to potentially know what's in the pocket, what I have to play with, what I have left. So I'll show you. This is what I do. And so new paper sits right behind me in a container, which you can't actually see at the moment. And I need to be able to leaf through it at the top. So what I decided to do for this is I do sheets where I cut up the paper so I can see it, because for me this is very helpful for designing. Not everybody needs this, but you'll quite often see me pull them out when I do videos or those kind of things. So these sheets just sit in the front and I leaf through it at the top. So I need to know what it's called at, like over here. And then I do have put the number. Once this gets down to the point where potentially I've already done a workshop with it, I've done a Facebook Live with it, potentially I've taught something with it, then it needs to go up on my shelf beside where my 12 by 12 cardstock goes. And so I couldn't see this because that would be at the back of my Calyx shelf, right? So I put 2 labels on the paper so that when I walk by, I can see it here as it sticks out of my shelf. If I need to go back and look for something, let's just say I wanted to create something else with Brush Beauty, then I will put it on the shelf, like once it's done, put it on the shelf, and I can see the label over here. And those are in alphabetical order. Whether it's the best system or not, I'm not sure, but it just seems to work for me. So this is my other little label maker, which I'm actually loving. So like I said, this one is app driven. So you just turn it on. The little labels are inside here. Okay, so we're gonna do Artisan Sketched Garden. Love this paper. So, and two, see, like I couldn't do some of this organizing with you guys until everything was live, because I don't typically show the catalog before, the items in the catalog before it's live. Okay, so where the heck is my phone? Because, oh, here we go. Okay, so this has an app right here. That's what the app looks like. So I'm just going to open the app. It, you sync it. So I don't know if you heard it, but it just heard that my printer is ready, and it says it's current, use current supplies in the printer. You can change it. I have cute little different colored labels, but yes, I'm just going to use this one. Okay, so then you literally can just type. As soon as you select that label, you double tap on it and type it in. You can change the size of your font, all of those fun things. And 16775 okay, and it has, because I've set it up like that, it's centered it, etc. Okay, so then I can say done, and I'm going to print now, and this is already preset for that, but so you can select the number of copies. So I want 2 labels, right? Because we'll put one up here and one over here. So I'm going to go 2, and it's talking to my little printer. Oh, but I didn't change it to 2, so we'll have to print a second one. The next one will change it to 2. Okay, so, right, then for up on the shelf, I will add this one. And then when it's in my basket, I'll use this one. Okay, and then when I'm done with this paper, I can peel these labels off. It's fine. Okay, so then you can see when it's up on my shelf, I would be able to see because it's in alphabetical order. Okay, so we'll do the labels for this one. So you can see I have not done the paper samples yet because I haven't started cutting up this paper, this pack of paper. Okay, so we'll go back and we'll delete that, and we'll go water side retreat. Okay, and so do you guys then have a favorite DSP that was released from this new book? So the new book is from May 5th until August. So there are so many good papers in this book. It's not even funny. I've been playing with lots. 920. But I want a line there. Oh, it's in the wrong spot. There we go. Okay, so this one, I'll remember to change it to 2. And I actually don't know if I have a favorite from this book. So I can change my count to 2. You can change it to however many you want. And now it will print 2 labels for me. Okay, you can save them if you want. So for example, if I was using this, which in the future I might, to do my cardstock, right? I could just save these to use again, right? So I could use it once for my 8.5 by 11 and then once for my 12 by 12, which is like the downfall of this one. Okay, so don't save. That's how that works. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm going to just turn it off now because it will stay connected. It won't keep printing because obviously I'm not in the app. But I think that like really the most important thing is like just figure out a system that works for you, right? So this is a prime example of a system that has adapted and works for me because of the way that Designer Series paper moves through my studio, right? So I'm not about storing it. I'm about using it and then moving on, right? So while I'm still using it, this is my reference point. And then when it's down to the point where I need to either decide if I'm going to order more or be done with it, then it'll go up onto my shelf, right? So, like I said, I didn't think it would be a crazy long video because really it's just about picking a system and setting it up for yourself. But I had gotten so many questions that I felt that like just creating a list would probably be helpful. Sorry, something's off with my fun little webcam. Okay, so you can see on the top, right, on my 12 by 12s that all the cardstock colors kind of go down and then back up and then down. And like I said, I think that the reason that I like that so much is because I can see from the outside visually the color. So, and that's just adapted, right? I don't seem to have the same problem with the 8.5 by 11, but maybe it's because I use the visual more in the 12 by 12. I do, as you can see behind me, my system in my office is all like the Calyx system. So for example, when you look at the 12 by 12s, which are just right here off to the side, I don't have the dividers, but because everything is just jam-packed into one cubby, and the 12 by 12s fill that one cubby hole. So somebody asked if my paper gets bent, and no, it doesn't really, because it's kind of filled so that it wouldn't bend. Versus in the 8.5 by 11 image that you see down here, I do have the dividers, and they're on their side. And the way that I don't get bending there is because I don't move, like I make sure that the section is full before I start filling another section. Also, I keep it on that side of my office because there's less light, because if your cardstock is light exposed, it can like lighten the color. I used to have it in open shelving, and I had some paper discolor, right? Like it just gets like bleached from the sun. Okay, so that's what I've got for you guys today. I hope you found something helpful on here. And like I said, the link to the sheet is in the description of the video. And if that doesn't work, just comment tips and it will send you the link to find the sheet by message. So I hope you guys all have an awesome day and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye, guys.